send out her profile, but yes, I mean, I think it will get better, even better when she starts speaking, because she's a powerhouse, really.
Right.
And you can't wait to hear her. Yeah, I personally can't wait to just listen to what she has to say about this.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
Yes.
I'm almost wondering who you're talking about.
It's you.
Yeah, it's you.
That's why we're wondering.
And we're so honored.
25 years
I'm
of
honored
doing
to be
this.
here.
You look 25. So when did you start? What do you mean?
Over 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Over 25 years ago.
Yeah, you know, it's funny when you were saying grandmas are listening. I am a grandma.
Oh, no. Are you? You are. Hey, we need a whole masterclass on how to look this
Like
young.
this.
Really? A grandma, congratulations. That's nice.
I mean, yeah. So it's a fun space.
It's a fun space.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay.
Great.
Before we start, I'm going to ask you one very polite question that we ask our guests, and that is, what is your pink today?
What is my pink today? I think the one that definitely wins it all is a podcast that I'm launching in February.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
To just have these conversations
Yeah.
about, it's called Connecting Generations.
Okay.
So we started shooting this week. So definitely that's my pink.
That's your
Wow,
pink, yeah.
congratulations.
Well done, congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
nice.
Yeah, so we're talking about families and children and all, the family space, yeah? I think my opening question, just so that you guide us through this masterclass, is what is your definition of a well-raised child?
Wow. A well-raised child. You won't completely tell whether a child is well-raised until they're an adult.
Okay.
Because you see, it's a journey, right? But if we start with the youngest, a well-raised child is able to adjust socially.
Okay.
You know, they cope well with people. They are self-regulated. And it's not just the... You know how people say, oh, this child is grown up.
Yeah.
That is not a well-raised child. When we try to say that a child is grown up, they're not supposed to be grown up.
Okay.
Oh my God.
They're supposed to be
Children.
right?
Yeah.
But if they are learning self-regulation, meaning they know how to ask, they know how to use please, thank you, etc., that's fine. They don't need to be serving you to prove that they're well-raised. They just need to be kids,
Yes.
right? They will break things. But if you correct them, or if they notice they've broken something, they will say sorry.
Yeah.
Right? Not they will keep away from things. That, they sit and mind their own business.
Yeah.
That's not a well-raised child.
Okay.
And when we get into parenting style, we'll basically look at what makes that kid be grown up. But yes, a well-raised child fits socially without having to be the one meeting grown-ups' needs. So they're self-regulated, they're socially aware and self-aware, and just at their age-appropriate level.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that's
You're gonna pause there.
You told your child is such, she's so grown, or they don't act
Sure.
their age.
Hey, they don't act their age. They act mature.
Children need to act their age.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
And you're going to tell us what that looks like. Actually, let's get to that before we get to the parenting styles. When you say that children need to act their age, what are you talking about?
Okay. So, for instance, what are some of the things you expect of a 2-year-old?
Their potty training,
Yeah, those are the skills they have.
Okay.
Yeah, but what do you expect a 2-year-old to do? Just as a 2-year-old, not because they've been taught.
Throw tantrums a bit.
There you go.
I have a 3-year-old, so
Yeah.
I have those
Let's even take
moments.
2 to 3 so they can make it
they'll
real.
scream
Yeah.
around and
So they'll do that. Then the question is to ask, what is making them do that? Like, that is their form of communication. So that's how they express frustration. That's how they express they're demanding things, because they don't have the vocabulary. So you can't expect a 3-year-old to come and reason with you like a grown-up. They don't have the reasoning capacity.
Yes.
They will throw the tantrum. Now you teach them at that point how to communicate as opposed to throwing the tantrum.
yeah.
Okay.
But if a 13-year-old is doing the same thing, come on.
Now that's a problem.
concern,
That's a problem. So how is a 13-year-old supposed to be behaving? By that time, they have learned certain skills. They are more, quote-unquote, grown-up. They're more advanced in age. They're more advanced in reasoning. They're more advanced in their emotional capacity. They have the vocabulary to say what they want. They don't have to throw a tantrum to get what they want. But when a child is sleepy, they don't know whether they're sleepy, hungry. All of it feels uncomfortable. So they throw it out like a temper tantrum.
Yes.
They cry for no reason.
And how do you... Okay, what are some of the common responses to that, to such?
Now, it's hard to respond to a child that you don't know. So if you're a parent, know the child.
Yes.
But let's say you're not the parent and you're the one who's been left. Like if you left me with your 3-year-old, I would first get down to their level, meaning behave like them, play with them, to get them comfortable with me, to see, how are they behaving?
Yeah.
Right? Like, what do they like? What don't they like? I will expose them to different things. Just to see, does this interest them? Does this not interest them? I will talk to them like a human being, not baby talk.
Okay.
Right? To show them that we are connecting. I see you. And so we'll try things. If they don't know, if they don't want, then we leave it and try something else.
I spoke about the common response, because sometimes how we respond to that, very common, like a lot of parents would respond to it by scolding the child.
Yeah.
You scold the child because you think they are very,
They're being
unasumbua,
mannerless.
like you're being mannerless, you're being fussy. Go and sleep or whatever. Why are you not eating? So that is usually like a very common response to such, and it's a good thing that we are learning this. That we need to understand
like
age appropriate behaviors. Yes,
and you're able to observe age appropriate behaviors. Because like imagine have you ever had bloating? Like gas. You don't want to eat because anything that you eat is going to disturb your stomach. A child does not know that their stomach is bloated.
Yes,
they just know that they are feeling bad and they don't know why. And if they put that food in, it will go, or whatever it is. But they don't know how to say it. So they refuse the food.
Yes.
Now they refuse the food. You're thinking, finish your food. I have bought this food. Do you know what it takes me to put this food on your table? It becomes a competition, whereas you just need to be observing their behavior. Yeah, and it goes across the spectrum. The 7-year-old, how they behave, 8-year-old. When children start school, they get bullied in school, or they try to fit in school and they're uncomfortable with that. So they come home and they want attention.
Yes.
Because in school I didn't matter. Could I at least matter?
At home.
And then you kick them off because, you know what, leave me alone, go do whatever. Not right. Observe.
Ellen, why are you giving me that look?
I'm sorry.
You're making me feel so guilty.
No, I'm trying to see your reaction because
has she seen you parenting?
I've not. I don't know.
But she knows. Like she knows what I go through sometimes, and especially when you're parenting more than one child.
Yeah.
Like you have 3 different ages. You don't know when to to be mad at this one, when to
and then
scold this one, and this other one is
fair.
Correct.
It can be quite a task, a challenge. Anyway, so that is for another session. So let's talk about different parenting styles. Now that you spoke about parenting styles and how they affect how a child turns out, eventually turns out. Yeah.
Now, parenting style is literally that. What's your style? How are you parenting this child? What do you demand of them? Remember what we were saying about a balanced child is a child who's now well adjusted, age appropriately, is socially fit. So what are the things you demand of your child? How much warmth do you show them?
Yes.
How much autonomy do you give them? Are you giving them permission to be themselves?
Okay.
And then how much of that, to what degree?
Yeah.
So now parenting styles cut across that sort of spectrum. So there's the authoritarian parent, what we call the authoritarian parent, right? Because these names were created by somebody else, but their description basically fits. This parent is a bully.
Oh.
Right?
Okay.
It's my rules, my way, or the highway.
Yeah.
There's no two-way for the child. So they bully the child, they get them to do what they want. So the rules are very, very clear, and there's little warmth. Right? So the demand is high, but there's no warmth.
Yeah.
They're not giving this child an opportunity to just be a child.
Yes.
Then there is the permissive parent.
Okay.
Anything goes. Anything goes. They're there to please the child. They say the child is the boss. Right? And
I'm working hard for you.
Yeah, I'm working hard for you. So maybe one day we can get into how does this parent get there?
Yeah.
But they work for the child. And we'll find a lot of this happens when people have, let's say, struggled to get children, or the family has influenced them to be there, to be in that state where they feel they have a point to prove. And so they start serving the child. So they let the child, they're very lenient, Then the kid grows up quite entitled. Then there is the absent parent. This one generally just ignores the child. They're not there. They're more likely to be selfish. It's about them. this child is an inconvenience.
Yeah.
Right? So they're absent, they ignore, they're uninvolved, they're just not there. This child raises themselves. Then there is the authoritative.
Authoritative and authoritarian. Yeah.
Right? Now, the authoritative one has demands. But for them, it's not just the rules that are clear, it's the expectations. So you see, this authoritarian was setting rules and saying, if it's not done that way, then this is the consequence. But the one who's authoritative will actually show, this is why I'm expecting you to do this. So you must be quiet in this house. That's the authoritarian.
Yeah.
Shut up. The authoritative will say, be quiet because
the baby is asleep.
Yeah. Or we are doing this or the other. So you see now, the child now, you see, is able to adjust because they know why they're being quiet. So that's, in a nutshell, the 4 different types of parenting styles.
I'm interested in knowing what kind of adults does this kind of parenting now lead to? Like where the children have been brought up by an authoritarian parent, a bully parent. What kind of an adult are we looking at? When one has been brought up by a permissive parent, what kind of an adult is this?
Yeah.
An absent and, of course, the authoritative one.
Now, remember, you don't become an adult before you have walked through childhood.
Yes.
So what kind of preteen are they? What kind of teenager are they before they even become adults? Right? And so if it's bullying, so the authoritarian, remember that is a bully parent.
Yes.
So they're bullying their child. Either the child becomes timid and withdrawn because they're afraid of the bully, or they go and do that in school. So they start by bullying people. So if you see a child bullying, they're bullied because they're not born that way, if I may call it that. So they're being bullied, therefore this is what they go and act out. So they will bully somebody else in school. Now, if that is allowed as we go, they become a bully of an adult. Now, there's a one who's timid. They will be a people pleaser to a great extent because they're afraid of people. But they may also then go and perpetuate because, remember, they were pleasing their parent. And therefore, to avoid the discipline and all that stuff that's going on, they withdrew. They were subdued. So they believe that is how to parent. So when they grow up, they also become that adult who demands the child to be subdued. They may not necessarily do it well. They won't do it with as much aggression, but they will still expect it of a child because that is what was expected of them. And because they withdrew, they think that, this worked for me, so I'm going to make it work for my child.
For my child as well.
So they'll become the bully, they will become authoritarian, that kind of person. And it's easy for them also now as a partner to be bullied by their partner. Yeah. So if we look at relationship conflict, now that you've asked about adults projecting to adulthood, our conflicts in relationship start before we meet because they start in this childhood stage. And how we are being parented and everything. Now, by the time we become adults, that's what's happening. So now, if we run through the others, permissive, you see, anything goes. Now imagine an adult who expects everything to go their way. Entitled in capital letters. Right? Because they were always allowed. They were the boss. So who do you think you are to not serve me? They're the ones who feel the world is here to meet their needs. That's the adult. So that's who they become as a boss. That's who they become as a parent. That's who they become because anything goes. But because it worked for them, they sometimes will let that happen to their children. They will also be that permissive. Because again, we copy what we learn. So we either react to it or we copy
emulate it. Interesting.
And so that's one of the things that will end up happening because they don't know about real consequences. And the unfortunate part, because there's who they turn out to be, and then there's what happens to them. These permissive adults who never accepted consequences, or rather never faced them because they're being allowed to, will end up being in trouble later. Right? Because they take without permission. They will do stuff without authority. Then when the world, you know how we say asiyefunzwa na mama ufunzwa na ulimwengu. Now this one hakufunzwa, right? It was not taught anything by their parent. So what do they end up doing? Getting taught by the world. So children who grow up in permissive homes end up facing consequences they were not prepared for as adults. Because nobody told them there is a consequence. Right? We go to the absent one.
Yes. Absent.
Now, this one, remember the parent was absent, was selfish to a great extent, because I guess that's why they're not there to parent.
Yes.
Now, when this child grows up and becomes an adult, already they needed to be self-sufficient.
Yeah.
So this is the kid who brought themselves up. They can cook for themselves. They can do whatever, because anyway, the parent is not around, or they've been left with responsibilities over other children, especially, like firstborns who end up taking on that responsibility. These are self-sufficient person.
Yeah.
Now, independence, Miss Independence.
101.
And so you find this one does not need anybody, because they grew up not needing. I mean, they needed, they didn't get.
Yeah.
So they concluded, I don't need. I can do this by myself. And so they end up being able to do stuff by themselves. I can do this. And you said you have a 3-year-old.
Yes.
At 3, they're telling you, I can put this on. I can do this. That's where they're starting to assert their independence. Now, when they have an absent parent, they do it anyway. And they learn. And they end up believing, I can do this by myself. So as an adult, they don't need people. Therefore, they break up relationships. They can't hold on to a relationship as an adult.
Oh, no.
Because relationships need us to be dependent on each other.
Yeah.
And these people don't know how to be dependent. Yeah. And unfortunately, sometimes they will expect the other person to also not be dependent. Like, why do you need me?
Yeah.
You can do this by yourself. I'm doing this by myself. Like, let's move on. Yeah. So they become also very absent in terms of their relationships, because that's what they grew up knowing.
Yeah.
Right? And this is generalization, because there's a place where there's healing that can happen.
Okay.
Anyway, the authoritative parent, remember, they're giving a good balance.
Yeah.
There's expectations, and then they're telling you, okay, these are my expectations. This is why I expect them. So they give reasoning.
Yeah.
So the child who grows up in such a home ends up, what would I call it? Having their own boundaries, expecting that from other people, but also allowing other people the permission to be who they are. So they don't feel, because they didn't feel like anything was being taken away from them for them to be a child.
Yeah.
They don't feel like their fellow adults are taking anything away from them.
Yeah.
So I'll let you be you, I'll be me, and we're okay. Yeah, like what you're doing is not about me. It's just about you.
Yeah.
Do I like it or not? Then I'll assert my boundary. So these are adults who are able to say, I don't like this, or, I didn't appreciate it when you said this to me.
Yeah.
And they will tell it to you without becoming your enemy forever. So now they hold on to relationships better, because they're managing.
Yeah.
Right? They know how to assert their boundaries. They know how to follow through.
Yeah.
They're well grounded. They're technically what you are asking. What is a well-raised child?
Yeah.
You will tell at the end when they're adults and they're behaving a certain way. Yeah. They don't take things personally, right? Because they will understand where you're coming from. Why are you doing that? And even if they don't understand, they will ask, because they grew up knowing
Being
that you
given
can
room
ask.
to
Being given
actually
room to
ask.
explore.
Yeah.
The difference. So that's adult that they basically become.
Wow. Learning so much.
You're yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, the insight on, I'm thinking of also the people that I have related with, and even on myself, on my own. I'm trying to evaluate how the person I am, how was I raised, where do I place my parents, and where do I place myself?
Yeah.
Very insightful. Becky, I'm very, as a parent yourself, Becky, let me first pose this question to you.
To
yeah?
me. Oh my
How
Lord.
do you strike a balance between being firm and also understanding?
Being firm and understanding. Being firm and understanding. How do I strike that balance? It's a hard one. I try to be understanding. I try, but there are times when I lose it, and I'm like, no, I become the African parent.
Yeah.
But I think it's understanding, like Shalom said. Sometimes I think it's the age appropriate things. Like I wouldn't expect my 8-year-old daughter to do what the 3-year-old is doing. So sometimes I understand this younger one more, or I'll scold this one because you're the bigger one. You should not have done it this way.
Okay.
So, and sort of understand this small one. But sometimes the balance is usually very hard to strike, because you almost end up treating the 3-year-old like the 8-year-old, or putting the same standards for them. We always fight when they're going to bed. So sometimes I expect them to sleep in the afternoon, but the 8-year-old is like, why am I sleeping?
They don't need to sleep.
And then the 3-year-old, of course, I need, okay, fine, the 3-year-old can sleep. But she doesn't want to go to bed if the sister is not going to bed. So I end up, forcing the sister to sleep. And maybe she didn't want to. Or I want to switch off the lights and she says, I'm reading. I'm like, your sister is sleeping. So, and I haven't gotten to a point where I'll separate them. I can separate them, but the balance is hard. Really, let me just speak the truth. It's really hard sometimes to balance when to be firm and when to be understanding. Yeah, but at sometimes, like I said, I try to understand. Okay, this is a 3-year-old. This is an 8-year-old. Yeah. And just try to treat them as such.
One of the struggles that I have seen, and I've also kind of like felt it in what you're saying about how you're raising yours in terms of the struggle you're having, is thinking that the children need to be the same. We think that balance is equal to equal.
It's not. Yeah?
It's not equal to equal.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Balance has to do with timing and everything. Even like for us, when we say we have a work-life balance, we don't have work-life balance.
It's never there.
Mara we are working, Mara we are not working, but it's never going
one
to
has
be
to suffer.
Balance.
Yeah.
So even for our children, and I like that, like the 3, are they the 2 that you have?
Yes, there's a 7-month-old. That one is growing.
The 7-month-old will come and find peace in the home. But if we take the 3 and the 8, they need to understand that they are different ages. Right?
Yeah.
Because remember, let's project to 10 years from now. One will be an adult. The other one will still be a teenager.
Yeah.
Starting teen, and the other one is leaving teen.
Yes.
So there's things the 18-year-old will be allowed to do that the 13-year-old can't. Start training them now. Let them understand you are 3 and that's why you need to sleep in the afternoon. She is 8, she doesn't need to sleep in the afternoon. So my expectation is you go take your nap. Your sister doesn't have to. They're not equal. Don't treat them equal. Let them understand that they're not equal, right? She reads her book. How many pages does she need to read before she goes to bed? Or by what time should she go to bed if the book is too interesting? So that she moves away, does her reading, and goes to sleep.
So it's important that I separate that.
So that they understand. Because then you're invalidating the journey of the 8-year-old by trying to get her to be equal to the 3-year-old. And then you're making the 3-year-old entitled because they're then getting privileges that the 8-year-old gets. So to help them set the boundary, let them understand they're 2 separate humans at separate stages in life with different needs and requirements and expectations. Because then that way, when they grow up, like as they're growing up, you'll find, okay, so you read something about me being in church. One of the things that used to make me sad is when parents leave the older child to take care of the younger child on Sunday. Because he is a kid who has come to church to hang out with their friends. And then their job now is to babysit. On that one day that they have 2 hours just to hang out with friends from different places. Ask, how was your week? Be silly, be whatever. But now they're taking care of a 3-year-old. Right?
It's very unfair.
It's very unfair. I know sometimes it's necessary, but then it gets unfair. Because then, are you giving this kid a chance to be themselves? Or is the only time they are themselves in school? Because then again, let's go to school. This kid has spent the whole day in class following certain rules. When are they going to be them? When are they going to have the privilege of being the older kid? So when you're looking for balance, please explain to your children that they're already different and then allow them to have that. What happens is when they grow older, if you have managed this well, they will have their own friends. Right? So they will live separate lives. Like if you have your daughters so close right now, when they're older, and I don't mean they shouldn't be friends. Yeah, that's a different thing. When they're stuck together as being the only people who are there for each other, they don't develop the social skills that are appropriate for their ages. So the 3-year-old goes to school, they're going to struggle because they have always hung out with an older kid.
The sister, The
8-year-old may end up being bossy because they have grown up bossing the younger sibling. So they end up bossing kids in school. So to help them adjust, help them also see that they are different.
Yeah.
And that's where we start getting that semblance of balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing the older one wrote on her journal this week, that a good thing that happened to her this week was seeing her sister with her best friend. Like, the sister just joined school.
Yeah.
Like the same school. So I think during break time, she spotted them together. So she journaled that. I was like, whoa. She was happy to see. The sister with her friend.
Yeah.
Anyway, so when we talk about striking the balance, you said, being firm, and how do you strike the balance between, being firm and understanding? Do you think it's possible to raise respectful children without fear-based discipline?
100% yes.
Yes. How do you do that?
Okay. Respect is not fear.
Okay.
Yeah, respect has an element of honor and things like that, right? So, what does a respectful child look like? That's a child who will... Let me first tell a story. There's a friend who was testing her children. And so what she would do is she has trained them to be respectful of grown-ups. So she would send her friends to go visit where she's not there.
Okay.
To see how her children will behave. Right?
Yeah.
Are they going to welcome you? Are they going to take care of you as a visitor? Are they just going to continue behaving as though you're an inconvenience? Right? That's a social awareness.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a child who is what? Respectful. Right? They know how to give people their time. They know how to listen to somebody else. We no longer have opportunities to give seats to elders. So there's aspects of showing respect that are disappearing.
Yeah.
Right? Once upon a time, when you got into public means you got off your chair
seat,
and let somebody else have the seat if they're older than you.
Yes.
Now there's no opportunity like that because everybody needs to be seated. And we had that transition where older people would walk into a space expecting the kid to get up.
Yes.
And then the parent is telling the child, no, you also have a right. So you will sit. So people call that kid disrespectful. And there have been all these sorts of videos made to do with that. But I think respect also has to do with checking the environment. Because you don't want to train a child to be respectful and then they get taken advantage of by an adult. So you also want a child who's going to be able to honor themselves and stand up for themselves.
Yeah.
Right? So they're not just being bullied. Right? So there's that element of respect. So is it possible to raise such a child? 100% yes. How? You validate them themselves. Right? If she comes and says, I had a bad day in school because of this, and the other, don't just throw her back in school without hearing her out. Right? What happened? Who did it? How can I help you? Right? Don't go solving their problem. Because when you go solving all their problems, then you're showing them that they're not worth it. Like you don't believe that they can. Right? So validate them, help them stand up for themselves, help them, and then appreciate them. When they've done something right, appreciate them. Then the other thing I learned is you won't know how respectful your child is unless they are with other people. So let them meet other people. Nowadays, we really lock in children. But when you let them interact with other people's house helps, other people's gardeners, other people's teachers, other people's bus drivers, or whatever it might be, bosses in offices, they will give you feedback about your child. Right? But here is the number one thing. If we're going 10, 9, 8, whatever. Number one, if you yourself are not respectful, don't expect to raise a respectful child.
Yes.
Because monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
If you yourself treat people with disrespect, your child will not be a respectful one. Or at least, do not expect that of your child. Now, your child may end up being respectful because of the teachers they're exposed to. And that's how we find children growing up in an adverse environment, but then they go to school and they meet somebody who loves them, who cares for them, who wants to mentor them, and they turn out right. So there's many stories where we'll hear, hey, so-and-so is behaving so well, but their family. I wonder where they got that from. There was an adult somewhere who saw them, mentored them, and guided them into being a well-balanced child. So can you raise a respectful child? 100%, while being firm and friendly. Yeah.
Becky, are you having a good time?
I'm having a good time. You can be sure I'm having a good time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you want to ask the next question?
Yeah. But I'm listening to her talk to us, Shalom, and it's very. I'm trying to remember my childhood also, and I'm seeing I'm a last born. First of all, does it even matter? Do people turn out a certain way because of being maybe a firstborn, a lastborn, a middle child? Is it really a thing?
Yeah, it's a thing. There's a generalization.
Yeah.
But yes, it is a thing.
So maybe I'm the way I am because I'm a lastborn, and
I don't know. How are you?
How are you?
I don't know how I am. Yeah.
How are you?
And because of that, I want to direct this question towards the different ages. So, how do we set healthy boundaries for children at different ages? Let's use Becky's scenario here, the 3, the 8. How can she set boundaries? Because now, Becky, I'm sure you have some work to do. Can you guide us on that? Yeah.
Now, I think I want to step back a little bit to what are boundaries.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Boundaries are basically limits that we put around stuff that we value. So it's hard to teach boundaries when you're not teaching values.
Yeah.
Okay.
They generally do not work independently of each other. And it's everything from when we're talking about boundaries, personal boundaries, we'll tell your daughters, don't let anyone touch you inappropriately. But if they don't value themselves, how will they know that it's inappropriate? So they're unable to set that boundary. Boundaries around things, right? You can't just go taking other people's clothes or giving out your stuff just like that. Why? You show them the value, then allow the boundary to be set.
Yeah.
Right? So teaching children boundaries starts from zero. When you're breastfeeding a child, should they bite you? You know how they right? No. So it's actually okay to slowly first withdraw. Then as they grow older, depending on how long you breastfeed the kid, you will tap them. Just not even painfully. There's a consequence. They know when they do something wrong. And slowly by slowly, you start showing them, this is the limit. This is the limit. This is the limit. Now, will they push it? Yes. So the 3-year-old will say, I'm not going to sleep at 7 because my sister is not sleeping at 7.
Well. Yeah.
How do you show the boundaries? By what are the consequences? Again, when you cross a boundary, there needs to be a consequence, right? So start with the value, then the boundary, then there's a consequence for violating that boundary. What will be her consequence for pushing that one? Are there some that she can push and be okay with it? For instance, I don't want to sleep on a Saturday night or Friday night. Why should I sleep at 7? That one is a safe enough boundary to push.
Yeah.
But without a conversation, they won't know that on this day, because we are doing something specific tomorrow that you need to be awake for, even if it's a Friday, you still sleep early. So there's communication around boundaries and then helping them meet the consequences. The 8-year-old, there's things that she needs to say, things she needs to do, things she needs to think, right? Help her do those boundaries. There's boundaries about time. Are they respecting time?
Yeah.
Because we don't think about boundaries of time.
Yeah.
Don't waste somebody's time. That's disrespecting their time, right? Teach them that. What are the consequences? There's parents who have actually left their children. They're dilly-dallying and they're supposed to be going to school. You said they get into the car a particular time. They're still wasting time because you are going to wait. They're violating your boundary. Leave them.
Okay.
Let them face
The consequences
for not having been in school. So there's different ways of doing it, and I prefer to say that use life's experiences, the circumstances happening in life, to actually teach those boundaries. So you can't teach time without doing time-bound things. You can't teach personal stuff if they have everything. You can't teach, you can't teach your child to respect their body when you yourself are showing up naked in front of them. Because, if mom can, I can, right? So we end up losing it when we violate our own boundaries for our children and expect them to not show their nakedness. Because you're comfortable, so why shouldn't they be comfortable? Yeah.
Wow.
And many, many more.
Now, before, Becky, you asked the question you're about to ask, I'm getting a question from one of our listeners who is asking something very important, and I don't know how you feel about this. Again, I'm really enjoying this conversation from your perspective, Becky.
This was for Becky.
Yes, this was for Becky. Shalom, someone is asking, at what age do parents talk about sex to their children? What is the right age?
We talk about sex. Sex is not sex. Sex is not just about sex, right? When you're talking about how do we talk about sex to children, what do you want to say? That's one of the things to think about. Okay. What exactly do you want to say? I like saying that we fear talking about sex to our children because we have had sex. So we are thinking that it's the act of sex. It is what else? You know, the things that surround sex, sex and whatever. But talking about personal boundaries is talking about sex.
Yes. Yeah.
Because if I'm telling a child that you don't let somebody touch your vagina or touch your penis, right? I've started with, this is your penis. Yeah. That's a sex talk. You have started there. Right. First, you name the genitalia, right? And make them comfortable with it as a name. Then second, you're showing them where to hold these conversations. So appropriateness of place. Those are just things you're teaching them. When they are slightly older, let's say around 6-7 years old, now by that time they've already started asking questions about where babies come from. You've been pregnant, so they're wondering, Allah, so where was the baby? How did this baby come about? There's basics that you can tell them. And you start slowly by slowly, you start now, even with the biology. This is how the biology is happening. Now, you need to understand that in today's age, they're also seeing sexual content and they're seeing it early. We have children getting exposed to pornography at very, very early ages. So sometimes the world will talk to your child about sex before you have had a chance to. But if you've taught them about certain things like boundaries, what to look out for, accountability and stuff like that, and you're building a child who's self-confident, then they will come and tell you when those things are happening. And you can have conversations with them. Then we move on to, now, by what age do you think children are engaging in sexual activity? The minute they go to school and meet other children, there will be something sexual that they're doing. So what do? Have conversations with them about their day. Not about sex, about their day. Because when you're having conversations with them about their day and their life, then you will know how much sexual exposure are they getting. Watch what they're watching, because you can leverage on that. Right? There's no curriculum that says this is how to talk about sex with your child. It's know your child, teach them the things that would make them do what you consider wrong sexually. Right? Like I ask parents, at what age do you think your daughter should start having sex? And many of them say never. Right?
At 50.
But are you preparing that child for a sexual life? Because they are going to have a sexual life.
True.
What script are you writing? Is sex something that they can enjoy? When should they enjoy it? With whom should they enjoy it? How should they enjoy it? All those are like boundary kind of conversations. So start talking about sex as early as 2-3 years old, making it appropriate. A time will come when you're actually talking about the sexual act. Now, sexual intercourse itself. What are the chances of you having sex when you didn't? You know how people say, I don't know what happened, things just, and then I found myself. But what makes you get to the point where things just, and then you found yourself? This person spoke to your heart, attracted. If you're a boy, this girl just attracted you a certain way. Right? We're having different type of relationships. What's the attraction? Are they touching the heart, touching the eye? What controls are you putting? Do you have self-control? Where if you're touched a certain way, are you able to say, no, enough? This was on my plan. Are you having those conversations with your children? So
we should invite you back for that conversation.
Like sex, I think is a whole story.
Yes, we need like a whole session where we can talk about that. So we have very few minutes, like around 3 minutes. Where only 3 minutes. I'd like to ask this very fast. What's the one thing that parents should stop doing immediately in terms of balance? Raising balance.
I think one of the things they need to stop doing immediately is following trends. Right? We are parenting from a point of fear. We don't trust ourselves, and therefore we are looking to do right. I don't think there's any parent who sets out to say, I'm going to raise my child wrong. So I'd say the one thing they need to do is, like now, today, trust yourself. Trust that you have the best interest for your child. Then stop following trends, because trends come and go and you will be left. When it just does like a curve like this and the trend shifts, you will have messed up without knowing. So get to know your child so that you're parenting your child. When you follow a trend, you're parenting a society, which isn't yours, right? So stop, leave the trend, know your child, spend time and know your child so that you're parenting the child that you have, and trust yourself.
Wow. You have a minute. One thing parents should say to their children more often.
I love you.
Oh, I love that. One thing parents should stop saying.
Don't do that. You're like so and so.
Oh my God.
Don't be like so and so. The comparison.
And finally, one reminder for parents who feel like they're failing.
You are doing great, because that child does not have another parent. Right? So you are doing great. Yeah.
We'll definitely have you back.
There's a lot to explore.
We've not even touched on
there's a lot to explore.
even 60 or even 40% of what we wanted to discuss today. But we've really, really, really had a good time. We've enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you too.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back shortly. This is Stepping Perspective on SpiceFM.
The greatest hits live